Yo, yo, yo. Hello, hello. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, everybody. The stream is starting. There we go. There we go. So right away, we can see a nice slight lower during or throughout the Asian session towards the beautiful relative equal lows that I fell in love yesterday. But they broke my heart, apparently, and now delivered like they should. But yeah, it is what it is, and it will be what it will be. So let's do the pre-market analysis to land with any kind of idea about this London Open session. So day of the week. Today it's Friday. No news on calendar at all. And this week was predominantly higher, yet the range isn't very much impressive in terms of in comparison to like previous weeks or so. So yes, it moved higher. Yes, it was from the low to high around 1000 handles, but it overall looks kind of compressed, kind of small range. So far, Friday already retraced to 50% of the current week's range. 50% was tagged right there. So that's something to keep in mind, that we already did kind of like the TGIF for this week. It's already banked by now. We do trade into this down candle here, which is obviously a potential bullish order block. We do have this inefficiency underneath, so this is something to keep in mind. I will measure the body though on this down candle and annotate it. So this is the rough estimation of the daily bullish or block mean threshold. All right, that's what we hit basically. We also took previous day's low by now, and that's where we are on this time frame. For our chart, we see overlapping order block with that one, mean threshold. Not much in terms of inefficiencies at all. So that will be it. Hourly chart, I do see a breaker, potential breaker here. So high, low, higher high. Last down candle inside of this price swing. Let's do this way. So that's the breaker. All right. Anything else on the hourly? We do have those relative equal lows right there, potentially. So that's like where the sell side liquidity resides on the hourly chart. That was the most pronounced price run from this low higher. So potential sell side liquidity resting down there uh, 15-minute nice delineation of the breaker here. It's nicely visible. So price went lower. Now we are in some measure of trying to retrace back up into it. So we'll see how it goes. And this low, if we could retrace back into the breaker or close to it and then try to sell off, then this low would be the easy next draw liquidity potentially. But let's see what we do about it. There is this 15-minute SIBI that price is inside of right now. So I will annotate this as such. Hello, Money Glitch, welcome. How you doing, buddy? I hope everything is all right. And are you looking for longs? To be honest, at this moment, I don't necessarily have a bias, to be honest. So I want to watch and see, because yeah, just blow my account. Oh sheesh, yeah. I feel you. I feel you. All right. All right. So 15-minute. That would be it for 15-minute here. I'll add this inefficiency inside of the breaker. This inversion, potential inversion. So this is like an important one on the upside. The CB already closed above the consecutive encroachment, and we are trading off of the daily order block mean threshold. Okay, so trading off of a discount array, meaning we might be seeking premium. The near-term premium is here. So we'll see how it goes. 5-minute doesn't necessarily add much in here, and 1-minute relative equal highs. That's the order flow it might want to revisit, in my opinion, near term, which is around 100 handles higher still. So let's see. I mean, overall, the range between the daily bullish order block mean threshold and the breaker, that's like significant amount of range, 200 handles of range. So without a bias, there might be something to look today. We'll see. But again, today I'm starting my silver bullet for London without a true bias. Maybe besides the fact that we could be drawing up to this breaker initially. That's my initial idea, but that's not necessarily like a bias or strong bias. All right. Yep. Let me quickly check the ES and what it's done. It also took its own sell-side liquidity. ES is trading into a small little fair value gap on the daily chart like this into the upper half as it is so far. Yes, looks definitely easier for higher prices. Yes, looks way easier for higher prices. looks kind of stronger, I feel like. All right, so ES might be a better candidate for taking longs or looking for longs today. We'll see though. I'll be checking ES from time to time. It has a buy side liquidity right there that's pretty smooth on the upside. From the Asia that was pretty much going lower, all Asia. It would be reasonable for price to attack the buy side here for sure. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. So we are basically starting the silver bullet hour right now, right at this moment. And yeah, let's jump into the 1 minute chart here. And let's watch what we can get though. The starting balance, by the way, that's the balance previewed risk for today is $250, preferably no more, could be less, and we'll see what we get. The dollar index, as we can see, is actually purging even higher. I believe it's gonna seek this high right there for buy side liquidity. So that can always put some pressure on indices and make going higher a little bit harder, but not impossible. Yet we'll see. All right, let me open a ES chart right there with light annotation. I just want to annotate this breaker here and that buy side up there. All right, there is an old opening range gap that we traded to already, and now we are trading higher off of that. We left relative equal lows in here, and with the breaker, I would honestly like, these lows are kind of suspect to me, admittedly. If we could turn around off of that breaker potentially, but that's kind of what we will have to see. All right, so right away that 15-minute CB that price is trading inside of right now, we already went above it here on a closing basis on 1 minute. So it doesn't really offer its characteristic as a bearish PD array. So you might see it grab up into this breaker next. But what I would like to see is like a little bit more pronounced run above it and then come back to the upper half and then move away, and that would constitute a solid structure to run into that breaker, and especially this inversion for value gap inside of it. But yeah, I'm kind of waiting for more clues, more price action. and I'm waiting for that moment when it will be just very obvious what it wants to do and where it wants to go next, and then and only then I'll be considering something. Right now I don't have a clear idea what it wants to do. Yeah, these laws are very suspect in my opinion. They are also placed after 2 a.m. They are nicely relatively equal. So these are some nasty London Open relative equal low sell side that might be just engineering sell side for future reference, but we'll see. So far, slowly digging out of this SEBI, went above it, little return, and now moving away. So I would like to see some measure of inefficiency or imbalance being formed soon, and possibly running towards the clean highs up here for the easy type of target. That's very smooth buy side, and it's clearly going forward here. And then we'll see whether the breaker is a factor or not. So far we have some divergence on the highs between Nasdaq and ES. That doesn't necessarily need to mean anything, but I'm making that notation in my mind. Small little fair value gap formed with a down close candle like this could act as potential bullish order block. Let's see if it will. We are running a risk of a consolidation during this hour, I believe, because of how much we moved since Asia. That's significant price run though. That's from 29,700 to 29,300 and below. So that's over 400 handles run during the Asian session itself, followed up with additional poke partially during London Open, but nonetheless the London Open set up the low basically, and this retracement higher. So there is a real risk of a potential consolidation during this time, because we already moved quite a lot. So that's something that also I'm keeping in mind for being rather careful and lowering the expectations. So preferably aiming only for low-hanging fruit objectives and not expecting huge runs out of this session, because usually after expansion, like we saw during Asia, there comes time for consolidation and compression and smaller ranges. Like the old quote says, big ranges bring small ranges, and small ranges bring big ranges. So currently we might be seeing some measure of smaller ranges, but yeah, let's see. Didn't really respect this as bullish order block very well. It traded underneath it, leaving relatively cool lows, but yet trading off of that upper half of this 15-minute CB. Potential bullish inversion for value gap, and likely gonna kiss the buy side liquidity here. Yes, consolidating at the breaker right there. Dollar index pulling off a little bit of its high, so that could or should offer a lift in the indices. So that should allow for a run on the buy side here without any issues. Oh my god. Is this real life? Is this real life? Do I really see the guy in the chat? HHH18, the legend. My first viewer of all time. Holy moly. Welcome, my friend. Welcome. How you been? How are you doing? What are you up to? Wow. I'm wow. Well, long time no see. Original gangster of this channel. Just welcome the chat. Nice. I'm really glad to see you, bro. Well, didn't expect that. But that's nice. That's nice. Oof, 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 oof. Appreciated, my friend. Appreciated. Mentor is a big word. I'm not sure if I am one, but if I landed some inspiration in your mind, then that's awesome. That's awesome. Well. I'm really flabbergasted at this moment. Cool. Very cool. Very cool. So I understand that you are still trading, right? Or maybe looking something there, or this or that. All right, nice run on the buy side here. And looks like it's gonna suck it towards the breaker on the hourly chart. And reasonably into this inversion fair value gap. So that's kind of what I'm watching right now. We'll see how it goes. ES broke out outside of its consolidation. So that's interesting. That little bit of weakness on the dollar index allowed for this price run higher. That's really great to hear though. That's really cool. Wow, my friend, congratulations. 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 I can feel you because I have one myself too. It's a little bit older now, but still it's a little bit a different story now. And it definitely took some time to organize or reorganize the time and schedules and stuff. So yeah, that's I mean that's great. That's great to hear. Let's zoom in a little bit to get a better view into these candlesticks in here. As it's kind of like, because the range is so large, it's harder to see the inefficiencies very well from the far. But yep. So far, day four of this new series, OG series, but with the new twist. We'll see how it goes, how it will go eventually. And yep. Well. Didn't expect that. All right, so I'm watching this little fair value gap in here that's laying over top of the old relative equal highs. And preferably, if it's good, it should just touch it like it did here and start moving away higher towards the inversion fair value gap here and the breaker low. So that would be something potentially in the cards, but we'll see. We'll see what we get. So far, really not much in terms of what happened. And yeah, I mean, comparing this to the range from the Asia, that's really nothing. That's really nothing. Versus how much it moved already overnight. We are tapping into the breaker on the 15-minute though already. So that's something to make a mental note of. Yeah, ES basically popped above the range in here, but came back into it. If it doesn't move quickly away, then it's problematic for the upside on ES. I like this. I like this touch here and here to this fair value gap, and the body staying outside of it. If it can start moving, that's very, very good for the run higher into this inversion on the hourly. That's hourly bearish inversion for value gap inside of the breaker. So that's the highest probable piece of price action that it could draw up to inside of the breaker, and doesn't really need to go above it, right? So no need for any return to this area in here again at this moment. I feel like it took or swept this short-term high with this candle. So if it's good, it should really offer some measure of protraction higher. The breaker low on the hourly is in striking distance, that's for sure. Then we'll see whether this inversion for value gap will be able to reach up into. Hello, Mr. Breaker Futures. Hello, hello. What are you up to today? This inefficiency preferably shouldn't be closed in. Preferably. If it's gonna go higher, right? If it's gonna be strong. But yeah, already deep dive into it. We'll see how it closes, but yeah. Busy night, so I assume you were all over the market during the Asia. Yeah, I was sleeping actually. I was resting. I had busy afternoon doing some stuff, so wasn't really up to the overnight trading. Close below consecutive encroachment. I don't like that. I don't like that already. Kinda sus. Dollar index still losing its ground, which should allow for a more lift in the indices, but they are really struggling to get something done, even though the dollar index is kind of trading softer and weaker right now. Yeah, Asia was a huge range, big range, as I saw, which also makes this London Open session way more difficult, I would say, or harder for a cleaner price action though. More likely to consolidate, probably. That's cool, money glitch. That's cool. I see some inspiration. I see some inspiration from what I do. Obviously, I'm kidding, but yeah, I think that's a very good approach. If you can stick to it over longer time, and really like the good measuring point that really you can say something about it is if you can stick to an idea for 3 months. If you don't deviate from one idea for 3 months, you can get actually so much experience slash insight slash, I don't know how to explain it, some visibility that really no one else will have that didn't do that, right? So anyone that didn't spend 3 months with one approach only will have no idea what are you talking about, right? But yeah, that's something that can lead to growth. So that's always good. But nonetheless, we are digging into the low of this fair value gap in here. We traded to it with a week. The bodies are staying in the upper half still. So I would say if it's still willing to trade higher, it's about time to do so. It's about time to do so, and the next candle or candle after should be piercing higher. That's what I would demand from this price action right now if I were holding any longs, that it would need to respect that and start moving higher. But already I can see that it became a little bit fluffy when it comes to respecting the discount race here. So let's see. Any closure below this fair value gap is really not cool for higher prices near term. So yeah, let's see. Yes, basically arranging inside of this little consolidation, so not much going on there. And dollar index pulling off slightly to the upside, which could actually apply some pressure on a weak market. All right, so it left this inefficiency here. So now, preferably, it should never ever come back on a closing basis below the consecutive encroachment. If it does, it's likely not gonna be bullish near term, but with this, it could still be reaching towards the inversion fair value gap here, I suppose. So we'll see what we get though. We are heading to the 330, and 330 is always important time for London trading, and that could cause some price swing to start delivering again. We'll see. But yeah, this should act as reclaimed bullish fair value gap and offer support in the upper half and resist the lower half. It shouldn't really spend much time in the lower half at all. And because this high and this high, they are technically relatively equal. Yes, this one is slightly higher, but you get the point. We could see a larger pop through it. Near term. I like that close in the upper half. Preferably we will close above it next. And that lends well for continuation towards the breaker and the inversion fair value gap on the near-term basis. Otherwise, if we don't do that, we kind of are getting stuck inside of the consolidation here on the 1 minute, and that's probably the least favorable outcome, but probably the most likely one, taking into consideration how large the Asian session range was, because yeah, it was pretty enormous. Though we did made some measure of pullback retracement already, and yeah, consolidation at this point is very likely. I feel like very likely, and this might be some early signs of that. So failing to trade above this and use this as reclaimed fair value gap, reclaimed bullish fair value gap, that's kind of like an issue for seeing it going higher near term. It still could do that, but it has to start moving soon. Like this candle, next 3 minutes should be moving away from this area if it's gonna run. Otherwise, the consolidation is very likely. So we'll see. Yeah, considering where we closed yesterday and where we are right now, that could lead to potential large or very large opening range gap today at 9:30, depending on where the price will be at that time. But assuming that it will be anywhere in close proximity to where we are right now, the gap will be huge, and it will be a discount opening range gap. So inside of a strong bullish market, the consecutive encroachment of that could be a likely draw. Yeah, Thailand, Tamiz Khan. We'll see. Maybe today is the day where I break the streak. We'll see. Everything is open still, as I didn't really took anything yet. So yeah, everything is ahead of me. Yeah, thanks. Appreciate it. I knew that you were a little bit like teasing me. That's why I didn't got mad. But yeah, nonetheless, it will be a fun one today for sure. All right, so we broke below this fair value gap in here. Let's see if it can offer any premium sensitivity and act as inversion fair value gap. It does seem kind of rangy in here, so we'll see. Yes, also it did nothing since the 3 a.m. open. It just consolidates at the breaker. Now it looks like it could maybe break out lower, but still that might be a tease on this part. So sure, my friend, sure. I gotta grow a thick skin nonetheless if I want to make big or grow larger with this series in here. I'm sure there are gonna be people that will be trying to screw me off. So gotta prepare for that too. As yeah, there will be some psychological warfare going on different battlefields. But yeah, that's cool nonetheless. ICT trader, so many ICT traders nowadays. That's amazing, bro. I remember when I started watching ICT YouTube channel when he had around 20,000 subscribers back then. That's when I started like putting much or more effort into it and start taking notes and stuff. And now seeing how this whole community and how he grew as the whole, that's amazing, insane. Like history happened on our eyes, live in high definition. Insane. All right, looks like we are seeing some weakness on Nasdaq right now. Looks like we will be pulling back into this SIBI, which now I'll be watching closely how the upper half will actually work or not work. All right, so I'll only use those levels here. So yeah, this SIBI on the 15-minute, we closed above it on both 15-minute and 1-minute, obviously. We ran above it fair amount, and now we are trading back into it. Also notice that this price run lower started soon after 3:30. That's the time where price many times will start pulling. It did. So now my key question, my key area of observation is how we trade inside this upper half of that potential bullish inversion fair value gap, because still we didn't quite reach the breaker yet, and as well as this higher inversion fair value gap inside of the breaker. So that could still be a draw on the upside. But now what could set up a run into it up there would be if we see a nice reaction off of the upper half of that inversion here, right? That would be reasonable. And that's something I'm gonna watch for now. So this is like the buy side, the minor buy side. It's here, kind of relative equal highs. We've taken relative equal lows right there and into the upper half. It looks like we have a nice little fair value gap right there. Hello, don't you, Christian? Welcome, welcome. Looks like we have like so many OGs viewers are coming in today. It's crazy. It's crazy, bro. Hello, my friend. All right, all right. So far, uh, we are not really diving towards the consecutive encroachment. We engineered another pair of relative equal laws right there. So I wonder if we could scoop those or take those out and then maybe reject. That would be constructive for potential rerun higher near term, at least. We'll see though. We'll see what we can get actually. We do have that opening range gap high also, that old one that we will be trading likely into. Also, we're trading off of this breaker on the 50-minute. It actually tapped into it. And there is a 50-minute bullish value gap there too on the downside. All right, now approaching the consecutive encroachment here. To be honest, it looks kind of heavy though. It looks kind of like it may want to explore a little bit lower in here. I mentioned at the beginning that these lows are kind of suspect, but that's a little bit long way to go for them. But let's see. So far, the bodies are respecting consecutive encroachment. And as long as this is the case, I want to allow for potential run higher still. So I'm not changing my mind to lower prices right away. But if we start losing ground in here, then that might be meaningful for me to change my mind. We do have a immediate rebalance right there on this candle. That was nice, bold down candle, and the next candle rebalance it to this candle's low. So if it is really bearish, it should be quickly moving away from where it is. But yeah, if it's not, we might see a poke higher, and that could be really constructive here. Let's see. Let's see. I like how we respected the consecutive encroachment here. I like that a lot. I would love to see price go above this bearish fair value gap and use it as inversion. That would be actually great to see. And that's where a potential setup could maybe form to offer a potential run higher. But let's see. Let's not force anything, as this could also easily turn into a consolidation still. So just a larger one. So yeah, it is what it is. No trades taken yet. Worst case scenario, if I don't find a trade during the London, I still have the opportunity to look the AM session and look for something there, or the PM session if nothing's there too. All right, for completeness sake, I need to bring this bullish fair value gap there too. Inside of that CB, kinda overlapping. I want to have that information also. I know that's a lot boxes on the chart, but I need to allow for price to reach down into this 15-minute bullish fair value gap, because after all, it could do that. It could tap into it and still offer discount sensitivity and trade higher, right? So this upper half of that 15-minute bullish fair value gap that's not traded to yet at all is also important to watch. Yes, losing ground a little bit in here. But it's trading inside of a daily bullish fair value gap on ES. There. So there you go. We got the touch to this 15-minute bullish fair value gap high. And now I want to see how we deal inside of the upper half of it. I truly assume that we could stay inside of the range still and not move much at all for the London necessarily. And after this huge rundown and now trying to sell off again after a retracement, right? It did a retracement and starting to sell off again. A lot of people might want to chase that, looking for lower prices, or maybe trying to call a top or thinking that this is a top, which that's kind of too early to tell, to be honest. So yeah, sticking with a potential pullback higher is pretty reasonable. I like how it tapped into the lower 15-minute bullish fair value gap only with the wicks, and the bodies are staying away, and now we are moving higher. So again, I'm watching this 336 bearish fair value gap to get potentially inversed. If that can happen, then it really can offer a little setup to maybe run the bicep here into the breaker. And that would be as far as I would look for now. I'm good, Sirvan Kumar. Thank you for asking. I'm well. I slept well, so I feel pretty decent. Yeah, and how are you, my friend? How are you, my friend? Is everything all right? Because Nasdaq is consolidating pretty much. It doesn't move much from its opening at 3 a.m. It's almost unchanged at this moment. It still can move a little bit, but yeah, I think I'm like fair enough with not engaging with this session. Still watching the macro right now, but nothing really speaks to me very, very clearly what it wants to do next. That's great to hear. That's really great to hear. I'm glad. I'm glad for you, my friend. That's really awesome. And we keep going. We are not stopping. We are keep growing. We are locking in. And we are going for it though. Yep. So the main goal of the series is to be mastering the process with the losses and the wins that it gives, but the process, and trying to establish or work with the highest probability that there is available at the time. And today's London Open silver bullet, after that enormous range throughout the Asia, wasn't really meant to be like very obvious, easy, and high probability in the delivery. Yes, it moved a little bit higher, a little bit lower, but is it really the highest probable condition to engage with? And thinking in terms of like having one bullet to shot, like one shot, one opportunity. Is this the session or the condition that's worth that shot? I would say, or I would argue that it's not necessarily. And avoiding these type of conditions more times than not, because sometimes obviously shit's gonna happen. Sometimes I'm gonna fall for it and I'm gonna engage poor conditions, and I will pay the price or get lucky. But whatever happens, that's not the skill that I'm looking for. And yeah, I appreciate your comment. I appreciate your comment. Trying my best though. Trying my best. Still developing. Still developing as a streamer, as a trader, as an analyst. Still working my way. But yeah, probably that's like the industry where you can't really stop learning. You have to always keep up with yourself predominantly, but also with what the market conditions are and stuff. And there is so much to glean every single day, even from like 1 hour like this. It might not look like it's a lot. Someone can say like, man, you didn't even took a trade. What the hell? What are you talking about? You get nothing from it. But that's not true. That's not true. I get the experience, the visibility, the foresight to avoid engaging in problematic areas or problematic sessions like this one. And that's like a superpower. Like, who can do that consistently? Who can do that? ICT probably, yeah. Maybe some top docs students too, but besides that, very few people think this way, I believe. But yeah, we are the crew that is going to go against everything, against the odds, and we'll achieve the road to 1,000,000. That's exactly that's yeah. By the way, don't take it too personal, but majority of people that engage in my chat, I believe you are guys very smart. You are really freaking smart people, and don't take it too personal. Don't be too high on yourself. But nonetheless, I really do believe that you guys are either asking smart questions or having smart thoughts about the marketplace, and I love it. I love to have such a cool company during my road in here and the series. That's great. That's like a huge bonus for me to have that crew behind the scenes. So kudos to you. Kudos to every single one of you. But yeah, looks like the 3 a.m. to 4 a.m. silver bullet hour is about to end in a minute. Let's review what happened across the board. What did ES do? Nothing that I like, to be honest. Nothing that I like. I wouldn't touch ES today at all. And I will be glad that I didn't, because it did nothing. The ES a little bit more volatile as always, a little bit larger ranges as always, but still very condensed and nothing really too clean. here too. So overall, I would consider that avoiding this session altogether. Look at the hourly candle and how it's gonna close, most likely on the Nasdaq. It's a very undecisive, dodgy candle with a little bit of longer wick on the upside, shorter on the downside, but the body is basically unchanged. So I take it as a great indication that today's session wasn't necessarily the session to push the envelope too hard. So good job, I guess. Good job avoiding the problem area, and I'll be there for the 10 to 11 New York time AM session silver bullet, and we'll see what we get there. So yeah, thank you guys for tuning in again. It was a pleasure as always. I wish you guys a nice time until the 10 a.m. and we'll see us there again, and I'll be hunting something at that time. So see you later, guys. Bye bye.